Shalom, everybody. And today, it's obvious, as you see a lot of these places that they're not even talking about, Colombia and so many places like that. I mean, this is crazy that it's almost like the Most High set these forests and stuff right on fire. And it's getting worse. Trump, you prejudiced son of a gun. You had the nerve to say it is a shame that the people over there, the white people, are having a problem killing off the indigenous people. You are prejudiced. Shame on you, Trump. That is the most biggest hate speech I ever learned. YouTube ought to block you. You are prejudiced against indigenous people. Now, they may not be the 12 tribe people, but they still belong in that particular land they're in. As far as so far from what we know, but you want to tell other white folks that happen to be in their land to kill them off. You're evil, Trump. Let's get to more breaking news on how total chaos is happening on this earth, and the Most High is going to let things hit the fan soon.
Fires could accelerate climate change. The Amazon rainforest produces 20% of the oxygen in the Earth's atmosphere, a vital defense against global warming. Tonight, Brazil's president, without evidence, suggesting environmental groups may have had a role in the fires as a ploy for money. And David, President Bolsonaro's critics say he's harmed the rainforest since he took office, selling it off, they feel, to farmers, loggers, and miners.
The world is baffled at the events taking place in the weather, and yet it was foretold 2,000 years ago in Bible prophecy that this would happen. And yet it was foretold 2,000 years ago in Bible prophecy that this would happen. And yet it was foretold 2,000 years ago in Bible prophecy that this would happen. Satan, the great deceiver, often tries to front-run God by giving people wrong ideas ahead of time about what is prophesied to happen. Satan has tricked mankind into believing that climate change is real, and in turn has blinded many people to the gospel of Jesus Christ, as we read in 2 Corinthians 4:3 and 4. But even if our gospel is veiled, it is veiled to those who are perishing, whose minds the God of this age is blinded, who do not...
The devil tricked y'all to believe in that son. And now, the Most High is having destruction on the earth. You believe in a lie. And because you believe in that lie, that's you walking off the cliff to the pit of hell.
Did not repent and give him glory. Climate change is simply Satan's counter to Jesus' signs of his return and the end of the age.
Mr. J is the devil. Climate change, as they say, is the counter of the Most High sending the angels. And also, before the angels come, the good angels, he's going to let these demons go to work on you, sorry butt, because you believed in a lie. Get to destruction, because this guy believes in Mr. J, so I'd be careful with this video.
Not farming practice, but in just 1 hour the entire thing was washed away. Nothing was left.
Every year the
entire thing was washed away. Nothing is left.
Every year the monsoon brings life-giving rains to farms across India, but they can also leave devastation in their wake.
That day I saw a huge tree trunk floating down, followed by a lot more trees and more water. Soon the entire area was covered with tree trunks.
The heavy rains triggered landslides nearby, and the swollen Chalia River rose so high its waters swept through the villages along its banks. The river rose so high its waters swept through the villages along its banks.
We've been living here for 36 years and never seen any flooding like this. We've been living here for 36 years and never seen any flooding like this. We've been living here for 36 years and never seen any flooding like this.
This was home to Mariam and about 12 members of her family. She's grateful they're all alive, but still feels lost. Her family, she's grateful they're all alive, but still feels lost.
We're not able to build or buy a new house on our own. We're not able to build or buy a new house on our own. I don't know what to do or where to go. This is our only land.
What to do? I know what you should do. Follow the Most High only. Drop all those idols. Stop devil worshiping. Oh, admit that the 12 tribes of so-called black men from the United States, and that we are the Israelites that y'all called us. What else? Oh, give everything back you stole and ask us how to serve the Most High. That's what you should do.
They're now living in a relief camp like many others across India. The rains have forced more than 1 million people from their homes. They don't know when they can go back. Rains have forced more than 1 million people from their homes. They don't know when they can go back or if anything's left. One MP says more preventative measures are needed to help save lives and property. But Vinu is hopeful. If he can get the money together, he says he'll go back to farming and his land will again smell of spices and coffee and be a garden once more.
Jesus, speaking to his disciples about
Mr. J was the thing of lawlessness and, of course, the devil. Let's keep going. Gotta be careful with this guy. He believes in that Mr. J crap.
Police need to stop this and end it and drop it right when it starts. This kind of behavior is unacceptable. It's insane. It's despicable. It's violence. It's extremism, and it's hurting our country. Well, let's not forget, we can have political disagreements, but at the end of the day, we're all Americans. Remember, we're all created equal. We're all one nation.
That is a lie. We're not created equal. Most High said we are better than anybody else. The 12 tribes so-called black men is better than everyone else. We're not equal. Never have been. Never will be. No disrespect. Most High said it, not me. Let's keep going.
Was found on Monday, bleeding to death from multiple stab wounds. Police tonight releasing this day, bleeding to death from multiple stab wounds. Police tonight releasing this sketch of the suspect, an Asian man in his mid-20s with black hair wearing dark clothing. He was seen driving off in this black, newer model BMW. Officers using bloodhounds to scour the scene.
This was a targeted killing. Sadly, we believe that the suspect came here specifically with the intent to harm the victim.
Police also say they found a backpack underneath the victim's car.
Inside the backpack was an incendiary device. Also found inside the backpack were multiple items that one would potentially use to kidnap somebody.
Those items reportedly include zip ties and wigs. And David, police say that they believe the killer has cuts and lacerations to his own hands. Investigators say that anyone connected to the victim right now is considered a possible suspect.
one of the many signs that we are living in the end times is the epidemic of wickedness and violence that is sweeping the world today. Jesus tells us
that may have been hit by a surface-to-air missile by Houthi rebels, a group backed by Iran. Now, this comes 2 months after Iran shot down a U.S. surveillance drone, claiming it violated their airspace. We will bring you more information as soon as it becomes available.
7-year-old Saddam Noor had dreams and ambitions. His family says he wanted to join the forces which protect his village. He was killed in the latest cross-border shelling in Pakistan-administered Kashmir. As usual, India and Pakistan accused each other of what they called unprovoked aggression and violation of the ceasefire. Pakistan's military spokesman tweeted that retaliatory fire killed 6 Indian soldiers. The day after the shelling from the Indian side, we witnessed more shells landing on the civilian population in Tattapani sector of District Kotli. A few homes were damaged. Kashmiris say life comes to a standstill every time tension escalates on the border.
How come they're not putting that in the news? It's ramping up. Civil war happen everywhere. Total chaos. The locusts, who are the demons and fallen angels, will come down to the earth, and from out of the earth, they will kill and destroy. Volcanoes will happen. Tsunamis. All types of tragedies. Earthquakes. Floods. Entire continents under the water forever. A lot of European countries will be underwater. New York will be underwater. Certain parts of Boston mostly will be underwater. The whole coast, all around, no matter where you at, underwater. Great Britain, underwater, and more. underwater as war plays out and tensions rise. And they don't show you anything about stuff is getting damaged from war that is happening, that they're not reporting to you. They don't want you to know about the exploding rocket in Iran, or how Iran has unveiled its newest weapons system.
Incident in a number of weeks. And let's bring in our Middle East correspondent Emily Rose and our defence correspondent Daniel Semak. Thank you both so much. Firstly, what more can you tell us about this?
Well, it looks as though this blast comes as a bundle of other such events. That's what makes it a little bit more worrying.